So doing hair for, however many years I've been doing hair, since dinosaurs have been roaming this earth, whatever, I have discovered that people, after I get done doing their hair, they're just like, oh my gosh, like, how did you blow dry the front? My hair can never look like that. It can never look super smooth. It can never be swooped around their face, whatever it may be. If you guys ever run into that issue, this video today is for you. It is gonna be so cool. So I've got 4 different looks that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna kind of show you guys 2 have fringe, 2 don't have fringe, and I'm gonna show you guys how to get a really cool look in front. 4 different looks, they're gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. We've got a lot of events coming up. It's holidays, even if you're doing Zoom, whatever it may be, but I'm gonna show you how to get the perfect polished look in front so you look amazing. Stay tuned, guys, it's coming right up. Okay guys, so in this first look, let's just kind of dissect what this first look is first, right? So this fringe right here is considered a V fringe. Now what happens is this fringe goes from short to long and short to long in this area. And so this kind of fringe helps create where you can create a swoop, happening either on the left side or on the right side. And so I'm gonna basically go through and I'm gonna show you kind of how to smooth this out. So if you were just to have, if you don't have this kind of type of fringe, but you have a fringe that's very similar to this length, this technique will work for you. So let me break this down and kind of show you guys how we're gonna get a really nice swoop in this fringe using basically a blow dryer and a round brush. We're not gonna be using a curling iron on this one, so just a blow dryer and a round brush. All right guys, so with this specific look, we're gonna be using these kind of brushes. So we're gonna be using a Mason Pearson style brush right here to kind of smooth out the root, which would be this one. And then we're gonna use a dual bristle round brush just like this to kind of smooth this out. So first off, what you wanna do is you wanna start off by blow drying everything down, okay? I've done this before in a lot of my videos, but in order to get the proper swoop to happen, you need to have the root direction going down, okay? And what I like to do is I like to kind of smooth things from like left to right. And so you can see how I'm going in. I'm using this root direction to push the hair at the root area. That is super important. Now what I want to do, after I do that, you can start to see how this root direction is starting to get a little bit dry. These ends are still a little bit wet, which is okay. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to take my round brush right through here. Now, depending on which side you want to swoop it on, it really does not matter, okay? If you have a good root direction drying, you can go any which direction. So what I'm gonna do, instead of going in and putting my round brush in just like this, you'd essentially create a claw. We don't wanna create a claw. We're gonna go in and we're gonna put the round brush in just like that. Now, as you can see from this front camera, this direction is completely vertical. And so if you think about it, your round brush is now going down towards, the nose and the chin and the neck, just like that. See how you're really starting to get this nice kind of swoop in there. And so now you're gonna have this fringe kind of swoop right out of the face. Now I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna take this other section right through here, just like that. Now I could keep this going in this same direction, just like that, and we could take it all this way. As you guys can start to see, this fringe, just like this, can float all the way just like that across. Now look how nice this looks, just like that, okay? We can even bring it over to this side as well, which is really super nice. Now that is where the root direction comes in. Guys, you really need to pay attention is if that root direction has really nice movement at that root area. Now we're dividing this between two sections. You've got that root section and then you have those ends, okay? If you have nice root direction, you can go any which way. Now look how cool this could be is if, number one, you've got like a nice little French twist back through here, and then you've got this really beautiful kind of fringe right in the front. Like how seductive and cool would that be? You know, going to a holiday party, an event, a party, you know, whatever it may be, guys, this would be super fun. Let me show you guys how to finish this off first. When I say finish this off with a little bit of product. All right, guys, so I'm gonna be using Orbe. This is the dry texture spray. Okay, now this spray is very similar to kind of like, it almost gives the illusion of like second day hair. So it kind of makes your hair a little bit dirty. Now, if you've never used something like this, what I would probably suggest is you wanna spray it in at that root area, and then you can kind of spray it through those ends. But it really just kind of gives a really cool amount of texture to the hair, gives a little bit of shine, but it's not shiny like you would be using like an actual spray shine. It gives a lot more texture to the hair, and so you can create kind of like that dirtiness a little bit right through there. So again, and I'm just gonna kind of show you guys how you guys can create this cool kind of look, you know, like right in front, right? Guys, I hope you guys kind of dig this look. This is super, super fun. Just remember, as you're starting to do this, you've got that root area and then you've got those ends. Using those two different types of brushes, you can create this look. Now again, I just clipped this up and back, but you can see how this would work having your hair up in the back. You could have it up higher. Let's move on to the next look. Thank you guys, I hope you guys dig this. All right guys, with this specific look right through here, you're gonna see it's a little bit more layered in this area, but then we've got a long length like right in front, right through there. So what I wanna do with this look is I kind of wanna create almost like this, you know, this really beautiful kind of wave. This will also be done with a blow dryer and a round brush. I'm gonna go ahead and wet this down really, really quick. So with this look, guys, we're gonna be using more of an actual brush that's got more of an aluminum core to it and just nylon bristles. Now this is gonna heat up like you would be using a curling iron, because that heat, that aluminum is going to, you know, heat up like a curling iron. You're gonna get a little bit more curl with that. And of course, we're gonna be using a brush like this to kind of smooth this out. Now, instead of us working everything forward, we're gonna be working things kind of like left and right and back. And so let's go ahead and start that right now. So now what I want to do, guys, is that I'm going to be taking out a little bit of a triangle section just like this. Now, instead of like the last section, we worked like this. Now we're going to switch the actual diameter of the round brush going more kind of across. And so if you're going to start over here, you would go that direction. Well, what we want to do is we want to start off and we want to go. Now we're going to be working across this way as far as how that round brush is going to sit, just like that, okay? Now, one of the things I like to do is I always like to kind of finger through, now kind of see really how this is kind of like laying. And so one of my things is that as I start to kind of look at it, I want to really start to kind of pay attention to, number one, if I brush this like one specific way, you know, you might get like this look, okay? Like, and the cool thing about this is that with me actually starting over here on this side, as you guys can see this, and then you switch this over, you're gonna get a lot more height coming this way, okay? Now, this looks really awesome, just like this, because again, you're creating like this really cool kind of look right around the face, which again, like is so becoming. Again, I like sexy hair, just sexy, beautiful hair that really just kind of looks like it flows. Now, when we go to switch this over, we can actually kind of switch this over to this side as well, just like that, okay? Now, and again, you're gonna also you can get a very similar look. It's gonna kind of fall a little bit more in the face, just like this. You know, that's why I probably prefer it over here on this side. It's gonna kind of come out of the face really nicely, just like that. Because if you're gonna wear a look like this, now what I would probably suggest is now this was just kind of thrown up and back. If you actually have this up, you've actually got something a little bit up higher, like kind of bringing this up just like that, it's gonna look really nice. It's gonna balance out that face shape really well. This still looks really well. I probably just wouldn't have it sag like as much. And again, this was just thrown up with a clip. Don't judge me on this, guys. We just did it really quick. I just wanna show you guys how the front looks. Now, how would I finish this off, okay? I would finish this off with something that's gonna give a little bit of separation, okay? Now that's super, super important. This is an anti-humidity spray. This is from Orbe as well. Now, if you're gonna be in a humid climate, this would be ideal to work with, okay? So what I wanna do is I wanna spray this product in there, and I'm just gonna give it just a little bit of texture, and this stuff will kind of give a little bit of shine as well. And then of course, what I wanna do is I actually wanna put something in here that's also gonna kind of give it a little bit of a hold as well. Then I would probably go in with, of course, a little bit stronger of a hairspray to really kind of hold this in place. And of course, that would kind of like stay right out of the face, just like that, you know? So again, this is a really, really fun way to kind of dress something up for the holidays, of course. I hope you guys dig this look as well. This is also really, really kind of fun. And again, if you really, really wanted to, you could pin this up right through here, kind of pin it up right back there and kind of hold that right up there in place instead of having this kind of come down. You know, you could kind of pin this right up into there and just kind of make it seem like it's like one piece right in front. So guys, let's move on to the next look. This fringe right here is cut in a way that's gonna be a little bit more inverted. What I mean by that, it's gonna be the opposite of a V. So it's gonna be very curtain fringe. So it's gonna be a little bit shorter here and a little bit longer through here. So I'm gonna show you guys how to really enhance a curtain fringe by using, of course, we're gonna be using this type of brush and a blow dryer. Then we're gonna be going in with an actual curling iron to really, really kick out those ends. So let's go ahead and start this. Now again, we're gonna go back to the first way, our first look. We're gonna start by blow drying everything back through here and blow drying this forward. All right guys, so the whole point of me blow drying was to really work on that first little section area, that root area. I really wanted to smooth that out because in the second portion of me using a curling iron, I'm gonna be really kind of polishing out those ends. And so let's go ahead and do that now. So we're not gonna really necessarily worry about using a round brush right through here. So what I wanna do is we're gonna be taking about, this is about an inch and a quarter iron right through here. This is a Marcel iron. Now you don't have to use a Marcel iron. Marcel iron basically means that it doesn't have like the actual clamp, the spring clamp. You can use the spring clamp. Really whatever's comfortable for you guys. You guys don't have to think you have to have what I have. Use whatever's comfortable to you. So in the previous finish that I did, I wanna take sections just like that. And so as you can see over through here, I'm gonna be taking a triangle section right through here. So in a triangle goes from here to here to here to where that hairline is. And so I'm gonna be taking that kind of section. Let's go ahead and just use one of our little trusty sharp clips right through here. Let's get rid of some of that hair. Now what I would like to do is that we want this curling iron to mimic the line that I want to create at the bottom. So what I want to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to be putting that spool, okay, which is going to be on the underneath portion right through here. Now I'm just going to kind of roll this just like that, okay? Now what you want to do is that we're just going to be kind of roll that just like so. Try not to burn yourself. A lot of people burn themselves and they do this on themselves, okay? Now as you're gonna start to see, what we're doing is now I'm working on the second portion of this. I've already smoothed this out, but I'm working on the second portion here, which is going to allow us to kind of have that flip. Now what I wanna do is I'm gonna be taking another section right over the top of that. Now that same section is gonna kind of mimic the one I just had, just like that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take this hair, I'm going to take my curling iron just like that, I'm going to put it in there just like so, and then I'm just going to kind of follow this down, you know, just like that. Take this hair that didn't reach into my previous one. Now this is where you can get a little bit kind of sketchy and you can sometimes burn yourself. That does happen. So take this very, very light. You know, we don't want to go super, super heavy with that, okay? Now what we're gonna actually start to do is I'm actually gonna kind of start to spin this even just a little bit more. So I'm gonna put a little bit more of an angle on here so it kind of goes off to the side just like that. Now as you can see, because I want, when I'm having a curtain, I kind of want everything to kind of curtain off to the side. So I want it to kind of fall into itself. And as you can see, I'm really kind of pushing that right up against the skin because I really want it to fall into itself just like that. So I want it to fall into itself like this and then kind of start to flip out right out through here. We're gonna move on over to this side right through here. And I like to go kind of back and forth with some of this because I can really kind of start to see where I'm at. Go ahead and clip that up just like that. Go ahead and kind of brush that out. You can kind of start to see how that's starting to look just like that. Take another little section right above that. Take your little clip that up. Now, one of the things I really want you guys to pay attention to is that as I get more towards this center area, I'm really starting to take my curling iron and I'm starting to turn it vertical. Now what that's gonna do is that's going to allow you to, again, and I repeat myself again, it's gonna allow you to really kind of have those pieces really kind of part in that area. So you're creating that really nice curtain look through there. Now these sections that I'm taking right through the top is I'm really kind of taking this, everything is kind of coming to a diamond right through here. So I'm really just kind of parting it right in that center area and then just kind of separating everything. So I'll take this top portion right through here and then I'm just gonna roll this right back, you know, and I'm gonna use my curling iron to kind of slide with that. And so it just really kind of slides right back into that kind of curtain area, just like that. Take this section right through here and sliding that back more to towards like a vertical, just like so. And then it's going to collapse right in there super nicely. What I want to do now is I'm going to be taking a little bit of a hairspray right through here. This is actually the Orbe Super Fine Strong hairspray. Now what we want to do is I'm going to take this, now I'm going to use the weight of the spray and I'm going to be spraying this down just like so, and I really just want to get that hair to just collapse super nicely and create almost like this nice just kind of curtainish kind of look that flows right around the face. Now using a little bit of that spray, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of brush some of that out and really just make sure that that just kind of falls really super nice right around that hairline area. Now the cool thing is, what I really, really like is that you can take the extension of these bottom portions and kind of frame this right around the face. You could do that, or you could really kind of brush this out and have it kick out right through there, which is really kind of fun. All right, guys, so again, curtain fringe, super simple. What we're doing, blow drying everything down, just like so, and then taking about an inch curling iron, and then taking those sections and rolling those back, because you want those sections to mimic the line you want to create on the bottom, because then you can create more of like that curtain, that flip, that feather, all of that good stuff. And then a little bit of a hairspray. You can use, pomades, things like that, but I wanted something that's gonna kind of last. And again, depending on what you do in the back, today's video, I'm just showing you guys how to really make the front that much more amazing and perfect. Let's move on to the next look. This would basically be considered nothing too layered, maybe a little bit of layer like right up on the top. But what we want to do is we're going to kind of show you how to do like almost like a Jessica Rabbit kind of look to it. Very kind of like lots of wave in the front. We're going to be using a blow dryer to kind of smooth it out. And then we're going to be using a curling iron to create that texture in there. So we're going to go ahead and wet this down. All right, guys, so when you get done smoothing this out, and again, we're not gonna be using like a round brush on these ends because we're gonna go in with a curling iron. We're gonna use the same curling iron we used before, which is about that inch iron Marcel. Now, what we wanna do is we wanna take sections that are basically going to be going, exactly horizontal. So they don't need to mimic this line in here, which is sitting on a diagonal. We're gonna go everything exactly horizontal. So let's take this section right through here, go and clip and just get rid of the rest of the hair. We're gonna be going in, we're gonna be using a little bit of a hairspray. This is from Kerastase, this is called Couture. Now we're gonna be using this to kind of like spray and use, whenever you're using a curling iron, you want to use something on the hair that's going to be a barrier between the hair and the extreme amounts of heat, okay? Now, as you can see, as I start to kind of wrap, I'm doing this is considered a flat wrap, okay? Now, everything is just basically wrapped flat to the head. I mean, flat to the actual iron itself, because I'm kind of feeding that hair right in there. And I'll just take this, and I can kind of touch this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of let this right out, just like so. We're gonna be taking a clip, and I'm just gonna kind of clip that in there to really let that cool. And as you can see, that clip in there, now what we wanna do is we're gonna be taking, and we're just gonna be taking these sections, we're gonna just be going horizontal across just like that. All right, guys, so after you guys get done doing this, you'll probably do anywhere between 3 to 5 sections. We have 4 here, of course, as you can see. We've kind of let this sit for about 5 minutes, but again, depending on your type of hair texture, it might take, a few seconds to cool down. It might take a while because if your hair is super, super thick. What we're gonna start to do is we're gonna start to remove these clips right back through here. So removing these clips, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like so. Now, I always like to let it cool. It's just gonna make it to where your wave and your curl is gonna last a lot longer. So what I like to do is, I'm gonna take this out, and I'm gonna start by just kind of like, letting this kind of fall really where I wanna let this fall, right? Now, of course, I probably wouldn't necessarily recommend you could just kind of leave it just like so, just like that. That is, fairly aggressive. It's still kind of cool, But again, what I wanna do is we're gonna go through and we're gonna start by kind of brushing this out. Now, brushing this out is gonna give it more of a lived-in look. Now, I take a boar and a nylon bristle brush, just like so, and I'm gonna start by kind of brushing this out. Now, this is going to kind of like allow the hair to really just kind of start to have a cool, kind of soft look to it, you know? Now, and I'm using my combination of my actual fingers, and it just kind of sometimes takes away that product look in the hair, just like that. Because again, if you're kind of curling it like this, and you start to brush this out, the cool thing is that as you start to kind of let this fall, you're starting to get this nice like Jessica Rabbit wave in the hair, which is super awesome. You know what I mean? And again, like, see how cool that looks just like that? Like that looks super, super awesome. Now, how bad would this be to have this as your look for like kind of a holiday look like this? Let's just kind of go through and I'm gonna show you how to use a product to get this to last. And let's get this out of her face. This is one of my favorites right through here. This is Swept Up. Swept Up is a powder, okay? Now this specific powder is going to allow us, you know, to create some texture in the hair. Now how we wanna use this is that we're going to be using this by spraying this in at the root area, okay? Now as you can see, we spray it in here at the root. Now spraying it in at that root area is going to almost create like a really good foundation, okay? Now I'm gonna go through, and as you start to kind of brush this, you can really kind of brush this really where you want it to stay, okay? Now that's the cool thing about using like that Swept Up in there, is that Swept Up creates that really nice, like now it's like the hair's not falling so much like right in front because you put that product right in there at that root area. Now the other really cool thing is that as I start to kind of spread this back, you can see how this starts to stay back through here, which is super, super awesome. You know, I love it because again, it's got like that really just kind of cool wave back through there. We're gonna take a little bit of a hairspray right through here and just kind of start kind of playing with this just a little bit, just like that. You know, kind of spraying this back, you know, kind of brushing it into itself, which is really kind of fun through there as well. So guys, I'm really starting to love kind of how this is looking right through here. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed, you know, all of my different looks, especially this one. But again, going through, and if you guys can really figure out how to do the front area, dude, you're like 90% there, especially if you're gonna do an event, because 9 times out of 10, most of the time people want their hair up, but people also want their hair down as well, and that kind of front thing. And I'll tell you this right now, it's timeless, it's sexy, it's classic, and it's in. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, like, comment, share, all the good stuff. My name is Jake Thompson. I will see you guys in the next video.